Hello, everybody. Here is a quick one before more storms roll in. And I tell you, if it ain't one thing, it's another around here. My garden really needs to get in the ground. I got seedlings, and if it's not tornadoes, it's quote generational flooding. So we're expected to get like 15 inches of rain by Sunday. So if I don't blow away, I might float away. Anyways, this is kind of a stupid one, but here's obviously Bret Michaels, because that's the only celebrity I know, on Facebook, and I messaged him and just said, probably not. He responds, how long have you been my fan? I said, I don't know, maybe 40 years. Whip. Which of my music do you love most? I said, Night That the Lights Went Out in Georgia is my favorite. Obviously, not by Poison or Bret Michaels, but Vicki Lawrence, who one of y'all told me I sounded like, which I thought was kind of funny, and I tell my husband about it, and he goes, oh my God, you do. He continues, I appreciate you for supporting my dream and career. I said, okay, that's great, thanks. Have you been to any of my concerts before? I said, I only went to the one where you performed with singer Charlton Heston. Obviously, Charlton Heston is not a singer. He says, where are you from? Obviously, I'm from Saturn Valley in Eagle Land. And then I continue on. I love the song you and Charlton did called Trigger Happy. I sing it all the time. Obviously, I say obviously a lot. Damn. That song is by Weird Al, and the idea of Charlton Heston singing it is hilarious. So I continue on with the lyrics. Got an AK-47. Well, you know what makes me feel all right. Got an Uzi by my pillow. Helps me sleep a little better at night. And then I continue with ba 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 ba. Listen to the song if you've never heard it. He gave that a thumbs up. So he really was not paying attention. He says, I would love to have a free ticket whenever I'm in your home zone. It is a fan like you that keeps me going. I continue with the lyrics. There's no feeling any greater than to shoot first and ask questions later. And then Charlton joined in with, well, you can't take my guns away. I got a constitutional right. Yeah, I got to be ready if the commies attack us tonight. Better watch out, punk, or I'm going to have to blow you away. I respond to his, I would like a free ticket comment. I said, you don't need a free ticket. He says, what do you mean? I said, I mean that made no sense. You said you would love to have a free ticket. Did you mean me? You must have mistyped. He says, yeah, I said I would love to have you a free ticket. And that is not what that said earlier. He edited it. I said, diabetes can cause your fingers to swell, so your fingers must have been so swollen that you mistyped. Again, you did it again. You've mistyped twice. It's okay. I have a cousin with type 8 diabetes. Not a thing. I understand how hard it can be. He says, how is the weather condition over there? I said, tornado watch, again. We had over 700 warnings issued a couple of days ago. That is not an exaggeration. Not just my area, but like the entire risk area. And then like 10 touchdowns in my area. Again, not an exaggeration. We had more touchdowns than the Bears in any football game ever. So I decided to switch it up just a little bit. If we had 0 touchdowns, we would be on par with the Steelers. Now, Bret Michaels is an avid Pittsburgh Steelers fan, and the real Bret Michaels would have come at me hard with that comment. But instead, he continues with, what is your religion? I come up with the biggest load of crap I can think of. Scientologist Christian. Why? What an odd question. He says, how is it odd? I have to know your religion so I know if I can trust you with our conversation. I said, well, what religions do you not trust? He says, I do believe Christians most. I said, but what about Scientologist Christian? He just says, can I trust you with our conversation because it's my privacy? Meaning, don't tell anybody. I don't want you to find out I'm a scammer. I said, I need to know your thetan level, what your thetan level is before I can trust you. Mine is 7, so I'm clearly the most trustworthy. Now, a quick note, I know nothing about Scientology. The only stuff about Scientology I know is what I learned from South Park. And Tom Cruise, please don't come at me. I'm a big fan. He says, ha ha, I'm not a Scientologist, so I don't have a thetan level. But I appreciate you asking. Always down to chat and connect with fans, though. quotation mark, meaning he went to Chat GPT with that. I said, oh, I don't know if I can trust you then, quote. I said, I'm not a Scientologist. I'm a Scientologist Christian. We still believe in Jesus. He responds on, what do you mean you don't know if you can trust me? All my life, I have been a pure Christian. I said, just that he was an alien human hybrid conceived via artificial insemination, and L. Ron Hubbard is the Messiah sent to save us from bad books. Think about it. Everything written in the Bible is exactly how an ancient person with no concept of technology would describe it. You think an ancient person is going to be able to describe the Big Bang? They didn't even know what a bacteria was. So he tries to jump off that. Can I trust you with our conversation because it is my privacy? I said, nah, they would say, God said, let there be light. So I respond to that. Sure, pumpkin, whip. He said, when was the first time you found out about my musical work? And then I said, continuing on, that I'll not tell anybody about our conversation. I won't tell anybody about how your fingers swell up to undeniable, unimaginable sizes. I finally responded to his question. I said, I don't know, I was probably 4. Not a total lie. The first thing I ever saw was you doing a duet with Keith Whitley. He has never done a duet with Keith Whitley, performer of I'm No Stranger to the Rain and When You Say Nothing at All, I think. He says, I appreciate your undying support. It is a fan like you who keeps me going. I said, I was in love with Keith and his mullet. You did this song called Headline News. Once there was this kid who got into an accident and couldn't come to school, but when he finally came back, his hair had turned from black into bright white. He said that it was from when the warden whacked it so hard. I took the song by the Crash Test Dummies and merged it with the parody song Headline News by Weird Al. He says, I want you to message me privately. I said, I am. I am doing this currently. Oh, Bret, I worry about you. You keep saying weird stuff. It's like your diabetes has exploded your brain. When is the last MRI with contrast that you had? You should make sure you don't have brain damage. And that was the end of it. He did not respond. So, as you can see, unable to send, he has restricted me, meaning he thinks that I truly think he's Bret Michaels, but he doesn't know quite what to do with me yet. So, that was that weird one. And thank you for watching. I'm going to go before another tornado blows through. Have a good day.